So I would like you just thinking of the best way to do this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to put in place some statistics that are going to allow us to count the number of people who are in each weight state given their diabetes status. So normal glycemic people, how many are in each weight state? And for diabetic people, how many are in each weight state? How would we create in AnyLogic in a declarative fashion statistics that are cross-sectional about a population? What's the mechanism? In the population. Here. We could go to the statistics area. Okay? So we go to main, we go to the population in main. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Population in main. Now, because we'll be operating on the statistics area, I'm going to double click to make this full screen just so we can focus in on statistics for this population. So I would like to count, or start simple. Count diabetic people. How do we do that? Good. So do you think this would be a sum, an average, a min, a max, or a count? Count. And how are we going to describe the criteria? Do you remember that word? It says item. So what are we going to say? Item in state. Man, yeah, we haven't used this before in this boot camp, but we'd say in state. Are they in the state? And what's the state? Diabetic. Okay, and actually, to be careful, there should be person.diabetic. Okay, because particularly for those who are involved in zoonoses and cross-species models, we might in the same model have a person and a pig or something. It's a farmer and then there's the pigs, and or person and deer for like a chronic wasting disease model. And so there might be states that are specific to person and states specific to deer, maybe from both ones infection with chronic wasting disease, and so you would want to be specific about which one you're referring to. Here it's person.diabetes. It's diabetic with respect to person. Okay. Next we're going to do count non-diabetic, or count normoglycemic. Count normoglycemic. Okay. And this is going to be item.instate. And what are we going to ask? What am I going to type now? It's a state in person. So person.normoglycemic. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, so we've just defined these statistics, okay? Are we okay with that? Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, having done this with these two statistics, I want to complete the thought for a simple pie chart, and then we'll do it for the more textured case. So we have count diabetic that counts the number that meets that criteria. Remember, for each person in the population in turn, it's going to call them item. So person 0, it's going to say, okay, you're named item. It's item in this certain state. Yes, true. It's true. So if so, it'll count them. If it returns false, it won't count them. Goes to the next person, person 1 in the population. So did person 0, now person 1. Are they in the state? And if it's true, it'll count them. Otherwise, it will go on to the next person only. And it'll keep on going, counting up the number for whom this criteria, this eligibility criteria, is true. Okay? Same thing with this guy here. So those are our rules to count eligibility for this count. Does that make sense? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So having done that, let us go now and make use of those statistics. Well, here. Let's build it and let's run it and see if it seems to be working. Okay? It's good to sort of test things out, just to give it a try. do run. Where could I go to the where could I go see if those statistics are operational? Where would I go in here?
Click on population.
Indeed, I could click on the population and I'd actually see it updating these things. It says count diabetic is 3 and count normal glycemic, okay, count diabetic has gone up to 7. Do you see that? Okay, great. We're cooking with gas, ladies and gentlemen, due to your good work, due to your hard work here. Okay, great. So now we will go create 2 graphs. Okay, the first graph we will create is a time plot. Time plot. And this one will be called, it'll be called, so I just created a time plot and I kind of stretched it so it was a bit larger. And I sort of adhered to some conventions by putting it above this area. Why did I do that? Because I didn't want it atop all the people. So I put it up above here. And probably I should do the same thing here. AnyLogic will sometimes put it there. Often they put it over here on the left-hand side. Okay, the left. I kind of like it at the top because I can look and more easily see what's going on in the bottom still. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, here's a time plot. Whence did that come? Whence did that come, ladies and gentlemen? It came from this time plot area of analysis. I dragged it in, and then I made it a bit wider. Now I'm going to give it a name.
How did you get the extra grid lines? I only have 2.
If you drag it out.
If you drag it out this way, it'll become larger. Okay. Yeah. It just depending on the vagaries of how big it is. Okay, we're going to call this prevalent case count time plot. Okay. Now, so we're going to plot out the number of prevalent cases of diabetes over time. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the data here will be a value, and it will be called prevalent case count. So how did I do this? I went to this button, ladies and gentlemen. I pressed this button. Here, I'll do it. So initially I had this, and I pressed this button. And then I'm going to say prevalent case count, and the value will be given by a formula. And what will that formula be? If we want to count the number of people that are diabetic, what do you think we need to do? Hey, come on. Okay.
Population.
Yeah, we're going to need to ask for the value of that statistic. Okay. Now this guy here is proving. I don't know why it's sort of toned out here. Here we go. Okay. Prevalent case count. We're going to ask the population. My population, this dot population dot, and we can actually ask for the name of that statistic. Count diabetic. There we go. Count diabetic. And so what did I do? I created a time plot. In the data area, I did a plus. For value here, I made sure it was value. I gave a title, prevalent case count, and the value is this.population.count diabetic. Are we okay with that? Okay. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to go down and I want to check how often it's updates. It says update automatically every 1 year. I'm okay with that. Now, this next thing, display up to 100 samples, time window of 100 years. Sure. Okay. In this case, I'm willing to live with it. Often these values are restrictive, like if you're dealing with a model in days. But in this case, they're okay. This is in the time plot. So let's run this. Let's run this time plot, okay? Or let's run this model with the time plot. Okay, here we go. And where is that time plot? Anyone? Where does it live? It's at the top, indeed. It's at the top, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. There's our prevalent case count. It's increasing over time. Okay? Now, pursuant to Vivian's question earlier, I will just note, if you right-click on this and you do copy all, and then you go in to Excel, you go into Excel here. Let's get Excel up. Hey, come on. There we go. Okay, Excel. Yep. And once Excel comes up, come on, I'll stop this guy from running, so Excel will come up a little bit more speedily. Okay. Evidently, I have too many things loaded here. Okay. Come on. Where's Excel? You should be able to do paste. And you might see it directly contributed. So here's Excel. I'm going to do a new workbook, and I'm going to do paste. And here's the prevalent case count over time. Okay? So it took the data from that graph, and it's summarizing it here. Okay? Occasionally you'll have problems pasting things into Excel, in which case you do paste special and ask it to recognize delimited values. But here, I'll do copy all. Now, one of the problems of only saving the most 100 years, the most recent years, is that it only saved back 100 of them. So if you're going to be running for a long time, you might want to expand it so it saves more than 100 of those. Okay? So this is prevalent case count. Great. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will now add in so this is